Well, hey there guys, welcome to Rock Hard Riffs and Flashback Friday. You know, 2 weeks ago we brought you the band Hubcap The Wheels, a most different kind of band. Then last week we brought you Commodore Candelo's Salt River Navy Band. Now these bands are connected. Now also, these two bands are connected to probably one of the most well-known famous rock stars ever. Rock on with Rock Hard Riffs. This is the Rock and Roll Guitar Channel. That's right guys, welcome to Rock Hard Riffs. This is the guitar channel for the self-taught. It is Flashback Friday. For those of you who have actually watched our last couple of Flashback Fridays, again 2 weeks ago was Hubcap The Wheels. Following that was Commodore Candelo's Salt River Navy Band. Now these bands are connected, as I said earlier, and primarily Hubcap The Wheels spawned one of the most famous rock stars of all time. Who is that rock star? Well, let's first talk about Hubcap The Wheels. Hubcap The Wheels were Pat McMahon as Hubcap, Mike Candelo as Rip Cord, the lead guitar player, Bob Dearborn as Rye Crisp, and Ty Clip, the drummer, was Rich Post. Now that was Hubcap The Wheels. Mike Candelo's Salt River Navy Band were Mike Candelo as the lead singer, Vladimir Kwiatkowski as the bass player, Bill Thompson as the guitar player, and Pat McMahon as the drummer. So as you see, there are two mutual members of both bands, and that is Mike Candelo and Pat McMahon. Pat McMahon again was Hubcap. Now, he looks nothing like Hubcap in reality. Those eyebrows and that hair was quite something. And Mike Candelo, again, was the guitar player in Hubcap The Wheels. And of course, in the second group, Mike Candelo was the leader, and Hubcap went back to play the drums. The other two members were no longer with them. What else is it that these two bands and these two gentlemen have in common? They were part of probably one of the most well-known TV shows as far as children were concerned in the state of Arizona. It was originally It's Wallace, followed by Wallace and Company, and then finally its last incarnation, which came in, 1970, was the Wallace and Ladmo show. The Wallace and Ladmo show actually had national syndication, but they showed it at like 3 or 4 in the morning and nobody watched it. So it just remained a local favorite. Now the Wallace and Ladmo show started in 1954 and ran all the way to 1989. That's 35 years. It's actually 35 and a half years, I think. One of the longest running television shows, whether local or national, ever. Any kid that was here before 1989, between 54 and 89, every single kid in this state knows who Wallace and Ladmo were. And of course we cannot leave out Pat McMahon and Mike Candelo. Where did they fall in? And Pat McMahon is somebody that they called the man of 1,000 characters, kind of like Paul McCartney was known as the man of 1,000 voices. Pat McMahon played so many different characters. Gerald, Aunt Maud, Captain Super, Marshall Good. The list just goes on and on. And Hubcap, which came out in 1963 locally. Now, how was one of the most famous rock stars ever inspired by Wallace and Ladmo? Well, that rock star grew up here in Phoenix. He likes to say he's a kid from Detroit, but actually he grew up here in Phoenix. And I went to a couple of the same schools that he went to, oddly enough. Who is that rock star, and what is his connection to Wallace and Ladmo? Well, that rock star is Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper grew up here in Phoenix, and just like every other single kid in this state, not just Phoenix, but the state, watched Wallace and Ladmo, and of course that included Alice Cooper. He was inspired by Hubcap The Wheels and thought he'd come up with his own fake band, and they were called the Earwigs. They were kind of like a phony Beatles, somewhat like Hubcap The Wheels. They thought the joke was great and they carried it on. And of course later they became the Nas and the Spiders, and then eventually Alice Cooper. But it was Hubcap The Wheels and the character Aunt Maud from the Wallace and Ladmo show that inspired Alice Cooper, Vince Furnier, to become Alice Cooper, one of the most famous rock stars of all time. Go figure. But that is the story of Hubcap and the Wheels and Mike Condello's Salt River Navy Band. I'm going to link some stuff here for you to read and look at about Wallace and Ladmo. Again, any kid in Arizona that was here before 1989 knows exactly who Wallace and Ladmo were.
Time for Ladmo and Jody to give away these prizes.
What kind of a choice is that? What are you talking about?
Let's let the kids decide.
Come on, here we go.
Oh, thanks, Tony. Very nice here. We're going over to visit with the studio audience. We're going to find some lucky sea winners. Ladmo has a giant Ladmo bag to give away.
Yes, and you have a seating charge.
I certainly do. Ladmo, would you hold just for a second?
I got 2 microphones now.
You never know who it is going to be. We'll find out right now. And Ladmo goes up that aisle right there.
Right here.
To your right.
My right.
To the 3rd row.
1, 2, 3.
Whoever's sitting right on the aisle.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Alice Cooper!
35 years to get there.
And I remember you when you were the Spiders. Remember that, Coop?
You introduced us to television, and I'll never forgive you for it.
Thank you, Coop.
Any kid that grew up here, any one of them will tell you how lucky they were that the Wallace and Ladmo show was on in those days. I mean, it brings tears to almost anybody that remembers that show. It brings tears to their eyes. Again, so I'll post some stuff about the show and the guys. So guys, that is the answer to Hubcap The Wheels and Mike Condello's Salt River Navy Band. Thanks so much for joining us, and please leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this. Alright guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you next Flashback Friday and next video.